Hello children, welcome to the class. And as you all know, we have studied the first part of this story, I Want Something in the Cage. And the chapter was explained also, the first part of the story. And we were on the comprehensive exercises and we have completed few. But today we are going to complete the left exercises. And before going to start this class, I would like to share a thought. A beautiful thought that practice kindness all day to everybody and you will realize you are already in heaven now. It means you should show your compassion and kindness to others. Those who are needy and poor, those who are suppressed and burdened. We should show our compassion and love to others. Because of this, we can make a better world. So, for this note, I would like to start my chapter, I Want Something in a Cage. We were on exercise number 3 yesterday and we have completed 2 questions of question number 3. The question was, words associated with cries of birds and words associated with noise. Today we are going to start third question, words suggestive of confusion and fear. In that paragraph number 3. From there we are going to get these answers. Now answer 3. Words suggestive of confusion and fear. So we are going to write over here, frightened, bewildered, blindly seeking. These are the words which are showing confusion and fear. Now let's move to the question number 4. Mr. Purcell heard it no more than he would have heard the monotonous tickling of a familiar clock. Read para beginning with it was a rough day. So we are going to read this paragraph because it is written in your comprehensive check. So, it's paragraph number 5th. It was a rough day. A strong wind blew against the high, plate glass windows. Smoke filled the wintry city, and the air was grey with the thick frost. Having completed his usual task, Mr. Purcell again mounted the high stool and unfolded his morning newspaper. He adjusted his glasses and glanced at the day's headlines. Chirping and squeaking and mewing vibrated all around him. Yet Mr. Purcell heard it no more than he would have heard the monotonous tickling of familiar clock. Now we are going to take out the answer from this paragraph. First question is, what does it refer to? It means, what does it refer to? So here, this is question number 4 and we are going to write question number 4.1. Answer 1 of Question number 4. It refers to the chirping squeaking and mewing of the birds and animals in the shop of Mr. Purcell. Now it refers to the chirping, squeaking and mewing of the birds and sounds of birds and animals in the shop of Mr. Purcell. Now, next question is, why does Mr. Purcell not hear it clearly? Why? Because he was not even bothered about these sounds, because he was used to it. That is why he does not hear that sounds. Now we are going to write the answer. Question number 4, answer number 2. Mr. Purcell does not hear it. Does not hear it. He would have hear it clearly because it no more than he would have heard the monotonous tickling ticking of a familiar clock. And paid no attention to it, as it was his daily routine. Daily routine. This way you can write the answer. Mr. Purcell does not hear it clearly because it no more than he would have heard the monotonous ticking of a familiar clock and paid off no attention to it as it was his daily routine. So, here from this answer you can realize that he used to listen these type of the noises every day. It is his routine. Now we are going to start the second part of the story. Before going to start the story, we have to read 3 points which are given in the book. The customers want something. So children, these 3 points on this part of the story depends. Now I am going to read the first paragraph of second part of the story. The man's shiny shoes squeaked forward. His suit was cheap, ill-fitting, but obviously new. He had a shuttling glance and close-cropped hair. Ignoring Purcell for the moment, he rolled his gaze around the shadowy shop. The first paragraph, the man entered, a stranger man entered into the shop. And what happened? The shiny shoes squeaked. Now here the word is squeaked means a high-pitched sound. So I am requesting you to take out your pencil and write down, underline the new words and write down the word meaning with me, because it is very difficult words. There are so many words which are a little bit difficult for you. So I am going to explain the words also, and I am writing the word meaning. So you just continue with me. A high pitch sound, or you can say cry, but here we are not utilizing this word. The synonyms of squeaked, but we are leaving this. The man's shiny shoes squeaked forward. Now here the sound which is coming from his shoes, that was shrill, that was a high-pitched sound. And his suit was cheap. His suit was not fitted at his body, ill-fitting but obviously new. It was looking new, but it was ill-fitted. It was not properly fit on his body. He had a shuttling glance. Now the word is the shuttling. Now first we should know what is the meaning of shuttling. Shuttling or shuttle means to travel. To travel. It means continuous in the movement. And the other word is, the next word is glance. Glance means take a brief or hurried look. Take a brief and hurried look. So, he entered into the shop and his shoes was having a very squeak type of sound, very high-pitched sound, and he entered inside. His suit was ill-fitted and not, but it was obviously new. He had a shuttling glance and close cropped hair. And here you can see his appearance. His appearance was not very appropriate, you can say. He was wearing a very improper suit. It was ill-fitted, and his shoes was also squeaking over here. And here you can see his hair. His haircut was in short, and here he had a shuttling glance, and he gave a look in a very quick way, and he just looked all around the shop, ignoring Purcell for the moment. And that moment he ignored Mr. Purcell. He rolled his gaze around the shadowy shop. Rolled his gaze. Gaze means, underline the word gaze. Gaze means a study in intent look. A study intent look. A study and still look. And he gave to Mr. Purcell. He rolled his gaze around the shadowy shop. Now again the new word is shadowy. Shadowy means dark or dim. So now here you can see Purcell. For the moment he rolled his gaze around the shadowy shop. The light was not proper at that time because it was a winter season, and you have already seen the atmosphere of that shop. There was a frost on the glasses of the shop, and there was not proper light. So he rolled his gaze around the shadowy shop, and in that shop he was standing over there, and he moved his eyes, intent look on the shadowy or dark or dim shop. Now we are moving to the next paragraph. A nasty morning, volunteered the shopkeeper. He clasped both hands across his melon-like stomach and smiled importantly. I see by the paper we are in for a cold spell. Now, what was it you wanted? Now here, the new word is nasty. A nasty morning. Nasty means very bad or unpleasant. Very bad or unpleasant. A nasty morning, volunteered the shopkeeper. Now here Mr. Purcell spoke out. A nasty morning. It was not very pleasant morning for him. He clasped. Clasp means, again a new word. Clasped. Clasp means grasp tightly. With one's hand. Grasp tightly with one's hand. Now here when he spoke that it was not a very good morning, it was a unpleasant morning, and he clasped both hands across his melon-like stomach. Now here he just grabs tightly with his hand and melon-like stomach and smiled importantly, and he smiled at that customer. I see by the papers we are in for a cold spell. Now here again he started talking about the newspaper, and he was quoted there that I see by the paper that we are in for a cold spell. Now again a new word, cold spell. Cold spell means sign of cold. So he confirmed over here by the paper that there was a very cold weather in the future also. Now he was just discussing with that person, but that person was not very interested in that type of the conversation. The man stared closely at Mr. Purcell. He gave a very serious look on Mr. Purcell as though just now aware of his presence. He said, I want something in a cage. The strange person had not paid any attention of his conversation about the weather and the newspaper headlines, and he was just go through the point, and he told that I want something in a cage. Here you can see something in a cage. Mr. Purcell was bit confused. You mean some sort of pet? Now here, why he got confused? Because everywhere in every shelf he had seen that all the pets inside the cages. But again, after watching all the pets, again he was asking that I want something in a cage. So that was a very big question for Mr. Purcell, and he got confused over there. And he asked, something in a cage, Mr. Purcell was a bit confused. You mean some sort of pet? I mean what I said, snapped the man. Very straightforward he said, something in a cage, something that is small. Very straightforward answer he had given, and he said, something in a cage, something small, not very big, because there were so many pets. Dogs were there, cats were there, monkeys were also there. So here he just specify the thing he wants. Now I see, hastened the shop's storekeeper, not at all certain that he did. His eyes narrowed gravely, and he pursed his lips. Now let me think, a white rat perhaps. I have some very nice white rats. Now here Mr. Purcell started searching the small thing inside the cage, and his attention was on the small white rats. And he told to that stranger that I think it was very good for you. Now here, no, said the man. Not rats, something with wings, something that flies. Now here the stranger specify that I don't want those rats. I want a bird which can fly. A bird, exclaimed Mr. Purcell. Now here you can see he was surprised. That exclaimed means he was just in surprise that he want He wanted bird. A bird's all right. He said, a bird, there's no problem. I'll arrange. The customer pointed suddenly to a suspended cage which contained two snowy birds. Doves. How much for those? Now here, customer said, pointed out that cage. In that cage, there were snowy birds, doves. And he asked for that birds. And he said, how much for those? How much money he have to pay? 550 came the prompt answer, very quick answer by the storekeeper, Mr. Purcell. He said 550 and a very reasonable price. They are fine pair. They are beautiful pair. That is why I am giving you in a very reasonable price. 550. The man was obviously crestfallen. Crestfallen means, now again a new word is there. Crestfallen means sad and disappointed. The man was obviously crestfallen. He became sad. He hesitatingly produced a $5 bill. I'd like to have these birds, but this is all I have got, just $5. Very sadly he said, I wanted those birds, but I had only $5. Mentally, Mr. Purcell made a quick calculation, which told him that at a 50-cent reduction, he could still reap a tidy profit. He smiled magnanimously. Here the magnanimously means generously, magnanimously means generously. Now very generously he said, he calculated everything and he just have seen that small reduction, it not quite unprofitable. It was having a lot of money he can get. So he said just $5. Mentally, Mr. Purcell made a quick calculation which told him that at the 50-cent reduction he could still reap a tidy profit. He smiled magnanimously. Generously he smiled. He was ready for that, for the $5. My dear man, if you want them that badly, you can certainly have them for $5. If you want those birds, so I will give you in the $5. I'll take them. He laid his $5 on the counter. Mr. Purcell tottered on tiptoe, unhooked the cage and handed it to the customer. And the deal was confirmed, deal was over, and they were decided to take $5. Mr. Purcell decided to take $5 and the customer decided to take that those doves. Now here the new word is tottered. Tottered, say suddenly and without careful consideration. Now, in these paragraphs, we have seen that he pointed out, the strange customer pointed out the doves, the pair of doves, and the deal was confirmed in $5. And after that, he took that doves, and what happened next we will study tomorrow. And these words you have to learn because these are new words for you, and these are very helpful for you to enhance your vocabulary. So keep studying and writing your work, completing your work, and stay fit and healthy. Bye bye. Take care.